Hey, how's it going everybody? My name is Artorigold, and today I'd like to go over Genji, specifically Genji at a lower rank. This is more towards people who are newer to Genji, but hopefully it can provide some advanced tips for anybody at higher ranks as well. So I've been playing a lot of Genji, and one of the things at the lower rank that you really need to focus on is to probably be a little bit more safe. And you're basically going to save all of your cooldowns, and you're going to use them only on guaranteed kills, so make sure you only use your dash when you know you're going to get a kill, unless it's going to be like a huge deal breaker to get a bunch of ult charge, and save your dash for also escaping. For the most part, what your goal is to get your ultimate as quickly as possible. Your entire goal with Genji, if you're not really able to aim the shuriken that well and you haven't really played him enough to get the kills with the shuriken alone, your entire win condition is to just get your ultimate and win off of Blade. Ideally, you could have an Ana on your team and just win off of Nano Blade as well. So one of the things that a lot of people don't use Deflect for, they kind of use it just as a way to kind of save themselves from damage, but one of the best things you can actually do with Deflect is to use it aggressively in order to gain ultimate charge. For example, I'm going to get right in front of the Reinhardt's face, and I'm going to press E, and the enemy team is going to not only hurt their Reinhardt whenever they try and shoot at me, they are also going to give me a ton of ult charge. And as you can see, it works pretty well because the enemy Reinhardt goes down fairly quickly. So this is one thing that you need to always try and do with Genji. You want to use your Deflect pretty much on cooldown. Just get in front of any target that you know is going to shoot at it. For example, you want to look for things like Junkrat, that's going to give you a lot of ult charge, Diva micro missiles. One that I always like to try to go for is I try to deflect a Reinhardt's fire or flame strike. That's always going to give a ton of value. Other than that, your goal is to basically flank with Genji. You don't want to sit on the front line and spam your left click at the choke. You want to make sure that you are either on the high ground using the very easy wall climb passive to be able to hit people down below and they're not able to do anything about it, or you're going to try and get on the sides or the flanks of the enemy and you're just going to try and just left click and poke with your shuriken. Don't really try to commit for any kills, just try and get the ultimate as quickly as possible. There are a few things that you need to look for. One, you need to make sure that you're tracking the enemy support ultimates, if they have any defensives, if they have any stuns, and who you're looking to go for first with your dash. Obviously, in this situation, the enemy team has an Ana, and that is always one of the key targets with your Blade. So you want to make sure to always know where the Ana is, and always look for her sleep dart. As you can see right here, I see the Ana use her sleep dart right there. So not only do I know that the Ana has her sleep dart down, I'm able to freely go in, I got full health, I'm easily going to be able to kill her without getting slept, and also I don't have to worry about a defensive ultimate because they have a Mercy as their second healer, and they don't have a Zenyatta Transcendence or a Lucio beat, which is something you always need to worry about when playing Genji. But in this instance, you don't have to worry about it. One of the other things you could try to do is you could try to do kind of a harder play, which is to use your Blade against a Mercy when she's in mid-air and, you know, mid-flight, but honestly that's not ever worth it. As long as you get one Blade kill on the Ana and then do a bunch of damage to the next squishy that you can, then you have value with your ultimate. Then you just go back to being really annoying. So before engaging on Ana, always make sure that she gets rid of her cooldowns, and if possible, use your dash first and then use your Blade, so then you can use that second dash just for a little bit of extra mobility or extra damage. And then at this point, you basically just try and focus whatever healers you can now that the other healer isn't able to keep them alive, and just dash around and be as mobile as possible. Make sure you're never in the same spot. If you're sitting in one spot, then you're playing Genji wrong, right? You're going to be as mobile and as annoying as Tracer, and you want to make sure that you can get angles that Tracer can't easily because you can just climb on the high ground. Always look for angles and the flank routes on the high ground, but as you can see, I'm already 70% the ult charge, so it's very easy to get a Blade. If you're doing this right, you're going to be able to get 2 to 3 Blades very easily, very quickly, even on Control or King of the Hill maps. And just make sure that you don't die. Every time that you die on a hero, not just Genji, but on any hero, then you are wasting your potential. So every time you die, that's time that could have been spent farming an ultimate charge. Always keep that in mind. And so what you want to do here is now that they have a brig, you have to be way more cautious. You can still kill the brig, but right now what you want to do is you want to look for opportunities where you can get the brig away from the Ana, or you can go for people when they can't expect you, they don't know where you, I mean, obviously in this situation, all of them are just looking towards the point and they have to touch it. Not a single one is looking back here, so I'm going to get an easy flank off because it's 98%, so they're more focused on the point than anything else. And also because they just switched, I know that Brig doesn't have a rally. If Brig has rally, then you might want to wait for it to go away, or if she is lower in health, like maybe she uses rally not at full health and more like at half health or something, then you could try to use your blade to try and kill her, but you do want to try to watch out for the bash, because if she does bash you, then you are pretty much dead and there's no recovery from that, unless you have nano. But in these instances, you're not really going to get nano. So here, don't be afraid to use your deflect and your blade. That's something that I see a lot of Genjis forget to do. They just want to hold down left click and they just want to slash, right? But using your deflect and blade can be a great way to prevent yourself from dying, and also just the enemy might not expect it. For example, if you're trying to go on a McCree, which is something that I was doing right there, or maybe even an Ashe, I'm trying to bait out a deflect on maybe the McCree flashbang. Unfortunately, I didn't get it. He does get the stun on me, but my team backs me up. So as you can see, by doing this, the entire enemy team immediately turns around. I'm able to get all of their attention. The Doomfist is ulting, the Ana is looking at me, the Doomfist is ulting me, the McCree flashbang turned around, looked at me, the Ana is turning around, looking at me, and the Ashe went over there. So everybody is immediately not focused on the overtime point situation, giving my team more space to do whatever they want. So even if your blade doesn't get like, you know, a 6-man, if you don't get a 6-man blade, that's fine. If you're able to just focus the healers, make them use all of their cooldowns, and your team is able to follow up and go with you. So if you make sure that you time your blade properly, your team is going to be able to use your blade as a distraction, and you're going to be creating space and dealing damage at the same time, and baiting out enemy abilities, so your tanks can get free shatters, which is exactly what happens here. A Reinhardt gets a huge shatter off, which just makes my blade so much better, and my healers luckily are able to keep me alive, and then I just chase down the last couple of kills. So really, that's all you gotta look for with Genji. Another big thing I want to talk about with Genji is Nano. So Nano Blade is extremely powerful. It's going to be way better than your regular blade, but you're not always going to get it. But if you do, you can really destroy and shred teams before they're even able to react. Now, one of the more unknown things, or maybe it's just not practice as often as other things, is that your Nano Blade can kill squishies even if they are with a defensive ult such as Transcendence. So if the enemy team has a Zenyatta, obviously you want to always try and go for that Zenyatta first as much as possible, but if you know that he has his ultimate, he's going to pop Transcendence because it's an instant, it's just instant, right? You press Q, bam, you're healing. So he's invulnerable. So you want to make sure that once you do that, you're able to go for all the other squishy heroes. So as soon as Transcendence comes out, you have to make sure that you cancel your slash, your left click, with a dash. So you will immediately left click slash dash on a squishy, and you will be able to kill them, and the Transcendence will not be able to heal them through that damage if you time it right. So anyways guys, few last notes on Genji. Always track the enemy support ults. Always focus the enemy support, and if you're new to Genji, just try to build ultimates. That's the only thing that you should be looking to do. Once you gain some SR, and once you feel more confident with your shuriken and how they work, you can start focusing using those a lot more. Using your shuriken to get kills is what's going to separate a diamond level Genji from a grandmaster or high master Genji, because at the lower levels, it's usually very easy to just win the game and win team fights off of Nano Blade, but at the end of the day, in order to really improve yourself as Genji, you're going to be able to have to take it a little bit further and get kills with just the shuriken dashes alone. You make sure to use your melee attack as often. You want to make sure that you right click, cancel the right click with a left shift, then make sure you can do another right click or a melee to finish off that enemy, and then dash again into another enemy or dash out of the fight. Anyways guys, that's it for this video. I hope you guys learned something. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.